In a twist of strategic irony, India, which withdrew from the fifth generation fighter aircraft, that is the FGFA program, with Russia in 2018 over concerns about the Su-57's underwhelming stealth and super cruise capabilities, is now looking at acquiring the same aircraft. Well, India is examining the possibility of procuring at least two squadrons of the Su-57 aircraft from Russia and will evaluate a Russian proposal to manufacture them in India like the earlier MiGs and the Su-30 MKI. If the proposal goes through, state-run Hindustan Aeronautics Limited will join hands with Russia's Sukhoi Bureau and manufacture the aircraft in India, even as India pursues its own futuristic advanced medium combat aircraft, that is AMCA, which is meant for induction starting 2035. If an actual Make in India route is taken for the Su-57, two squadrons will come in flyaway condition, while 3 to 5 squadrons could be manufactured in India by HAL at its Nasik facility. Sources told ThePrint that the Sukhoi Bureau already has a working relationship with HAL. The Su-57 will make it easier. Now remember that these plans are still in preliminary stages and separate from the MRFA program that the IAF is pursuing, under which it has recommended the French Rafale aircraft manufactured by the Dassault Aviation. Now, sources that ThePrint spoke to admitted that the Su-57 is not classically a fifth generation fighter aircraft but meets India's operational requirements in wake of Op Sindoor. Now, there are only two friendly countries which have the fifth generation aircraft, and they are the US and Russia. The US will of course not be offering the F-35, which is more mature aircraft and indeed a stealth one under the Make in India route. The Russians are offering and have submitted a proposal to the Government of India. Now, why did the Air Force withdraw from the FGFA deal in 2018? I think it was a principled stand. Now, despite a government-appointed committee pushing for the FGFA deal to go forward, India exited from the program based on the IAF's recommendation. India's exit from the FGFA program in 2018 was driven by a combination of strategic and practical concerns. Escalating cost was a concern. India had invested 1,483 crore in the FGFA's preliminary design phase. Continuing would have required $35 billion for just 127 aircraft, with per unit cost ballooning to $150 to 200 million. The biggest concern for the Air Force in 2018 was the performance shortfalls. The Su-57's engine at that time lacked true super cruise, a hallmark of fifth generation fighters, and the promised engine remained elusive. Its stealth was limited to a frontal 60-degree arc, offering little advantage over the fourth generation platforms like the Su-30 MKI. Another issue was the restricted technology transfer. Russia's reluctance to share critical technologies undermined India's goal of co-developing a tailored fifth generation fighter. The final concern was Russia's own limited commitment to the aircraft. By 2023, Russia operated only about 24 Su-57s, including prototypes, with minimal export success and limited combat deployment in the Russia-Ukraine conflict starting 2022, raising doubts about the platform's reliability. The conflict further validated India's decision, as Russian Air Force struggled to achieve air superiority, exposing the Su-57's operational limitations. However, Operation Sindoor is leading to an ironical reversal. The irony of India's return to the Su-57 lies in the backdrop of Operation Sindoor, which exposed critical gaps in IAF's long-range strike capabilities. It was also felt that given the lack of depth, Pakistan can be covered with long-range conventional systems. However, with regional tensions escalating, particularly amid reports of China offering the J-31 stealth fighter to Pakistan, the Air Force has turned to the Su-57, not for its fifth-generation features, but for its ability to address immediate operational needs. One of the key factors working in favor of the Su-57 is its capability to carry heavier munitions with long-range capability. The most valued of this is the R-37M air-to-air missile, which has a range exceeding 300 kilometers. This provides the IAF unparalleled beyond visual range engagement capabilities, enabling it to counter threats at extreme distance. Incidentally, the Air Force is also looking at integrating the same missile with the Su-30 MKI during the upgrade. Right now, the Su-30 MKI has emerged as an aerial artillery with its long-range BrahMos missile. Another important missile that the Su-57 has is the Kinzhal, a hypersonic air-launched ballistic missile which enhances India's ability to strike high-value targets with precision and speed. The Su-57, even with limited stealth, is a long-range strike platform. For its large weapons bay and extended range makes it ideal for deep strike missions, filling a critical gap in the IAF's arsenal. The Su-57 will augment the Rafale and the Su-30 MKI, sources said, focusing on long-range strike missions rather than competing with stealth-focused fighters. Now, the sources explained that the Su-57 acquisition is a stopgap measure and cannot be a long-term solution. To secure its air power dominance, India as a country must accelerate AMCA development with increased investment and streamlined processes which are critical to bringing the AMCA online before 2035. The fact remains that India should majorly focus on the Tejas Mark II and AMCA. Both these projects should be taken up as national project. This means that the government has to ensure that the development takes place on time and delivery also takes place on time. For this, accountability needs to be fixed. For The Print, this is Snehesh Alex Philip. Do subscribe to our Print's YouTube channel for more such videos.